mute. Let's start seeing. Hmm. Damata, I see you. Damata is already ready. Okay. Guys, YouTube. Let me get you guys. I see Alex. Landry, I don't see you. What's happening? Okay. Be big Liam. All right. When you go to YouTube, just mute. When you're on YouTube, mute. Okay. Ready to start. Last week, let me get my whiteboard. Last week, we explained what Ansible is, right? We explained what Ansible is. We explained what Ansible is, and what did we say Ansible was? A configuration management tool, right? An automation tool, a tool that is used for configuration management. Someone asked for the video, but did I? I did not send that video. Oh, I have too many stuffs to do. Is my voice okay?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Okay. So we saw the beginning of Ansible. Oh, it's recording. That's fine. It's recording. Already. So we explained what Ansible was and what Ansible is used for, right? Today we're gonna start by explaining the communication method for Ansible, how Ansible communicates with servers. So we said with Ansible, we have the control node, right? With Ansible, well, we did explain that it's an automation tool, but today we will go further to look at the various uh, tools that compose and that Ansible is made of, right? How does Ansible work and how it is used? We'll eventually see how to configure configuration files, Ansible configuration files, and we will be able to use something called Ansible dash navigator. Ansible dash navigator, which hmm, which one am I using? Right. Ansible dash navigator, which is a tool. I mean, it's just a modern tool that is used to deploy Ansible. It's just a modern tool that we use to deploy Ansible, okay? That we use to deploy Ansible. And today we will start with the various components of Ansible. Last week, we mentioned how Ansible works. We saw how Ansible works, not like only mention, but let's like go through, we just explained, but today we will go through um, a drawing of Ansible's communication, the way Ansible, the preferred method for Ansible to communicate, right? And what happens in an Ansible server. Good. So in an Ansible environment, which is represented right here, we have something called the control loop of Ansible's communication, the way Ansible mute. You go to YouTube, but you mute. You mute on YouTube. Okay. Uh, hmm. I'm seeing only 9 people on YouTube. Please, you guys should not give me the headache that the other last people gave me when I was having that large group. How many of you are here? Leon,
I'm here.
Omi, Mimi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Why am I seeing only 13 of you? Where are the others? Okay. All right, let's go. So on Ansible, you have something that we call the control node, right? The control node, or you can call it controller, the Ansible controller, Ansible controller. That's the controller or the Ansible server. But don't call it the Ansible server, call it the controller. And then you have nodes, various nodes, right? You have various nodes that talk to Ansible. And what's the communication method of Ansible for Linux servers?
SSH.
Great. So Ansible uses OpenSSH, okay, for communication on port 22. I mean, on port 22 for communication. So these are nodes from like node 1 to maybe node 20, node 200, it depends. And all these nodes communicate to the control node using what? SSH, using something that we call what? SSH. And with SSH communication, how is authentication done with SSH communication? Hello?
Excuse me, sir. I can hear some voices from the
Can you
background.
repeat the
something that
question?
we call SSH.
By key, by private
SSH communication.
Who's doing
How
By creating an SSH keygen and you copy and send to all the managed hosts.
Great.
Excuse me, sir.
Please,
I
if
can
you're on
hear some-
YouTube, mute your YouTube stuff. Okay, so there are two medium of communication with SSH, right? Mostly password and what? Password and passwordless.
hostname. Key. Okay.
And passwordless. You can use password or passwordless communication. It's your choice, right? It is your choice. We will see both methods because in some places you might be able to use passwords. In other places, you might not be able to use any password for communication, okay? And Ansible is free. Ansible is free. It's an open source tool, right? So we said you have the nodes, and you have the Ansible control server, right? Right now, this is all what Ansible is composed of. Nodes and the Ansible control server for now. Ansible can be used on network equipment. It can be used on what? Windows servers, other operating systems, Mac, in short, everything that is operating system. Ansible is expanding, and right now, Ansible is being used for so many tools, containerization, Kubernetes, it's being used everywhere. If you're a DevOps engineer, you can't go without Ansible. Hmm. Is something wrong? I see you guys as if you're sleeping. I see all of you as if you're sleeping. Something is
No,
wrong,
we are not.
Baba.
We are not.
Okay, let's go. So the first thing that we will deal with is Ansible inventory. Ansible inventory. That's the first thing we will look at today. What is an Ansible inventory?
It's where you go and put the collection of all the IPs and hosts that you have.
We are okay. Thank you very much, Modibo. Modibo. Thank you very much. When you type your answer on YouTube, that's how we do it, right? Because it gets you your
Apologies.
speed, it gets you your speed, it gets you used to working, taking out the pressure, keeping yourself active. Great. So I expect you guys to be typing. Okay, a list of all nodes. Great. It is a list of all nodes. What else? So you will come to realize that there are two kinds of Ansible inventory. Yes, Ansible inventory is just your data. It's the entry of your files and directories, okay? It's the entry of your files and directories. What I love about Ansible is when you create an inventory list, either everyone can reference that inventory list or you can create your own personal list somewhere, okay? You can create your own personal list. You are all here. We can all have Ansible environment. The environment, the software is specific. It's customizable. You can have your Ansible environment on the same server. I can have mine. Everyone can have their own Ansible environment. Now, with Ansible inventory, you realize that there are two kinds of Ansible inventory. There's what we call a static inventory, and a dynamic inventory. What's the difference between a static inventory with some grace? I plead with you guys, do not allow people to go ahead of you. You'll cry. It's not Rhcsa. You'll cry. Trust me. Right. Static inventory. Static inventory, it's kind of a manual process, right? That you create. Let me just say, you create this alone. But with dynamic inventory, it's kind of, it generates, you can generate that list with other tools like Red Hat Satellite that you have in your environment, or other tools that can help you like Zabbix and other like that. You can use them to generate what? An Ansible inventory file that mimics your environment. All right. So now that's it about inventory. For now, when we go further into the system, we'll do more explanations and we will represent it better on diagrams. Okay. So first, okay, great. So the first thing with Ansible is its installation. How do you install Ansible? What package gives Ansible? How do you even start with that? So installation of Ansible. We will do two kinds of installation. We'll do this installation, then we're gonna do an installation with Ansible Navigator and see how to use all that. So how do we install Ansible? Ansible yum install Ansible-core, which is the package that offers Ansible. Right. At the point of installation, you realize that the main package that we are installing is Ansible core, right? And we have dependencies, which are what? Python 3 CFFI, Python 3 cryptography, Python 3 packaging, Python 3 PLY, Python 3. So this, what does this tell you? What does this tell you?
Ansible is written in Python.
Ansible uses Python, okay? Ansible uses Python. Ansible uses Python. Okay, it uses Python and it's wonderful the way they make it. It's really good. And when you create Ansible, when you come to realize that when using Ansible, you will write code, and if there are errors, you might see it. And if you go through the errors, you might see some Python, you might see some Python code. You might see some Python code, especially if you're going deep into Ansible, or you yourself someday you start writing or contributing to the Ansible project. Okay, which I wish or I hope that someday some of you will. Great. So the installation of Ansible, we just saw the installation of Ansible right here, which, yes, Ansible is installed right now. So what version of Ansible are we installing? Hello. All right, so we've installed Ansible version 2.14.17, right? 2.14.17, that's the version of Ansible that we've installed. And you realize that after installation, there is something called a default configuration file, which we see here. After your installation from anywhere in the system, if you do Ansible dash dash version, you will see Ansible, what? You see the Ansible config path, or where your configuration path is located. You see the Ansible configuration path where your Ansible config is located. Now, if I VI right here to this configuration file, you see, I just copied it from there. It doesn't have a lot, right? It doesn't have a lot because configuration files are customizable. You can customize it. You can create your own configuration file. At some point during the class, we will see how you can deal with your own Ansible configuration files, okay? We'll see how you can deal with your own Ansible configuration files and work with them, edit them to your liking. Great. So after seeing this, you realize that Ansible is now installed and it can be used. It can be used right now. You can use Ansible right now. There's nothing right now that can stop you from using Ansible. Is that understood? All right. The IP of this server, for those that are not yet set up, you're fine. For those that are not yet set up, you guys are okay. I'll set you up after the class or tomorrow before class. I'll set you up. But I know a lot of you are set up already. So log into this server. You guys should log into this server. Let me create a user. You log in, you get in, you create your own user.
Can I use Putty or Bash?
User art. Rob. The password for Rob is Red Hat, all lowercase. Okay.
Is there some type of VPN or something that you guys are using to access this IP address?
Yes. What are you using? Mac, Windows, or what? Modibo.
You said I'm using Windows.
Okay. It's a sudo. Um, it's sudo 5. When you get in, create your user and and use your user and go out. No sudo privileges for nobody. Okay. While you're doing that, let me see. Let me see what I can do.
What was the user again?
Modibo, can you share your screen?
Please for the user.
Rob,
Yes, I can. Here you go.
Modibo, share your screen, please.
Yeah.
I don't have too much time.
Can you see it?
Download and install OpenVPN client. I don't even know if I have any config file.
Uh, download and connect for Windows.
Let me see. Where will I get a config file? Modibo, I've sent you a file. Ben, are you using Windows?
Yes, Windows.
Yes,
Okay. Can you download the same thing, Ben?
you said you sent it.
OpenVPN client.
Yes. Finish.
What's the password again, please?
Red Hat. All right, upload file. Click on upload file. The file I just sent to you through Zoom.
Oh, you sent it through Zoom. Okay, gotcha.
Browse. Yeah, download it.
Uh-oh.
Amina, please, can you share him the user and password on his phone? We are live, so I can share it. We can be talking about it. Oh no.
Yeah, I just saw you. I just saw the file you sent me. All right, I'm uploading it.
Wait.
Right here. Oh, you want me to wait?
Wait, yeah, wait.
Roger.
I thought I clicked on this thing where you can share your screen. That's fine. Your screen can't come out, but it is. Okay.
So where is the best place to get the software?
Give me a second. Okay, I might have to stop the live stream before resuming it.
Gotcha.
Okay. Do it again. Let me see.
So you want me to go? I can upload it now?
Yes.
Okay. Not a problem. There it is right there. So I'll put it in. So now I got to put in the username, right?
Yes. Put the username.
Is it the one that Amina texted me?
Yes. Anything that Admina texted you.
Okay. Okay. Let me put that into.
Be fast. Be fast about it.
Yep. I was checking you.
All right. Now you're connected. Take your party session and boom, log into the same server.
Awesome.
10.12.22.55.
Okay.
Do you have party? Okay. You have mobile. installed. That's good.
I use mobile. Yeah. Yep. I'm about to log right in.
The password is red hat. What's happening?
Okay. I'm about to get in.
10.12.22.55.
10.12.22. What? Okay. Yep.
The username Rob. All right. You guys are all on your second screens, right?
Okay.
You guys are ready? Can we continue?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you.
Ben, do you want to do it or
Yeah, I'm trying to
come?
connect, get
Okay, you share.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm having issues with the software itself. It's saying type server access or cloud ID.
Share your screen. You will be helped better. It won't come out on. I've stopped it. It can't come out on live. I am the only person that can come out on live.
So share.
Okay. Go up, click a new window and click and enter new window. Open a new window.
Open a new window.
New tab. That's fine. Come up and do plus where there's a new tab. Right here.
Okay.
Okay. Enter OpenVPN client. OpenVPN client. Enter. Enter. Okay, first one. Download. All right, I think the download is almost done. Install.
Install.
Yes. Double click. Next to you're done. Oh, it's already installed.
Yeah,
You already
actually.
installed it, right?
Yes, I think I did before.
Okay, cancel. Then I just have to give you the configuration file. So I'll give a configuration file on Zoom. You download it. I'm gonna text you Ben. Okay. I've sent you a configuration file, Ben. I'm texting you the password right now.
Okay.
The username. Someone should text me the username and password. I don't know my own usernames and password. Someone should text me.
Where do you send it to? It's not shown on my.
On Zoom, on the chat, go on the chat. You'll see something that I've sent there. You download it. Do you see the Zoom chat?
Mm-mm. One second.
Stop sharing your screen. Can someone text me the username and password, please? Have you
Yeah.
seen it? On the chat, Ben, on the chat.
Yeah.
Download the file that I sent you on the chat. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Alex. Ben, have you downloaded the file?
No, I'm not seeing the file.
You're not seeing the file?
Yeah. This
You
is.
see the chat?
Yeah, I'm on the chat right here.
You're on the chat.
Yeah. I can see everybody's this in here, but I'm not
Do
seeing
you
it.
see my message?
Wait a minute.
I just said hello.
Hello. No, I don't see that.
Do you see the chat? Can you text me on the chat, Zoom chat? Okay, you texted me. Okay, just stay right there on the chat. Don't change your screen. Just stay right there on the chat. I'll respond to you.
All right.
Okay, do you see the document now? I responded with the document.
Okay, download.
Yes, download that. Yes, save it.
Okay, first 7. Let me save it on documents.
We need help with the VPN.
So launch your who?
Landry, I changed my laptop.
Laundry. You don't need VPN today. All right, Ben, open VPN client. It's up. It's right up. Nope, 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 nope. Open this one here, the one I'm drawing. Yeah.
The one here?
Right here, right here, right here. I'm circling it. Do you see where I'm circling on your screen?
No.
Who is sharing? Okay, go on your search bar and type open VPN. Open, just type open. Right, that's it. Open. Okay, upload file. No. Upload file. Choose right here on upload file. Right here.
Upload file on this very window.
See, right here. I'm circling it. Click here. Click here, right here. You're dragging the stuff instead. Upload file here.
Where exactly are you talking about?
Can you see URL? Hello, Ben.
Yes.
Can you see URL where it's asking you to type something?
URL.
Look at the middle of the OpenVPN thing that opened. The
Okay.
white space. Okay. Now, do you see upload file? No. Stay right where you were. Go up a little bit. No, you went too much up. Upload file. Do you see that?
Yes.
Click there. Then browse. Go and choose the file. That file, it's right here. I'm seeing it right there. Yes, open. Connect. Or username. No, username. I've sent you a username. On the WhatsApp. I think so.
On the WhatsApp.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Username.
Linux class.
Okay.
Connect. The password is on the Great, you're connected. Take your mobile XTEM or your POTI and you connect to the same IP that everyone is connecting to. You can bring that down, minimize it. Each time they say open VPN, open your VPN, you use that one.
Okay.
Do you have POTI? Type POTI.
I don't think start probably here.
I see it, that's it.
What is the IP?
What's the IP, guys? 10.12 dot what?
10.12.22.55. Is that the one?
Yes. The user is Rob and the password is Red Hat.
Login as who?
Rob.
ROB?
Yes. Password is Red Hat. Switch to root and create your user. Sudo, use sudo.
I don't need password.
Use sudo. Yeah. Use sudo and you put the password Red Hat. I mean, you don't need password for sudo. Control C. Use sudo. Just do sudo -I.
Sudo what?
-I. Enter.
Okay.
Create your user and give your user password. You can switch now to your user. Great. We're good to go.
Okay. So user add, just create my own username or what?
Yes. Okay, let me share back. We're good to go, right?
Yes.
Sorry for all that. Great. Ready to continue. Okay. So we installed Ansible. You guys, it's not advisable to use Ansible as the root user. So I'll create my own user also. User add GIF All right. So we are all in the server on the same server right now, right? Great, 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 great. Who is here as Rob? Who is in here? Let me see. You need to go in as Rob, create your own, you do sudo -i, create your own user, and you come back out as Rob. You kill Rob's process. I'll kill all these things. You need to be SU as Rob. You give the password for Rob. You do sudo -i. You become root. You add your user. When you add your user, you give your user's password. You switch to your user straight up. You exit and switch to your, you just switch to your user. At the count of, in 30 seconds, I'll kick all these things out.
We have to give our
Create
users
my
sudo
user.
privileges.
Right?
You really give sudo privilege to the user.
Yes, exit out. When you finish everything, you just exit out completely. Then you come back in as your user and your password. Anything Rob, I'm kicking out Rob. All right. 30 minutes is up. I'm killing Rob right now. Oh, let me not be saying this. I'm terminating the user processes of Rob. All right, let's terminate Rob's processes. Oh, I hear it sounding. Komi, is it you?
I think that was me.
Did we log back in?
You log back in with your username, with your user that you created. I was sending a while loop for this. You guys should be joking. All right, ready, guys? Great. This looks a little bit better. Okay, let's continue. So for the moment, if I do ps-ef, well, if I do Ansible, I'm here instead doing Linux, sorry. Ansible dash version, as we said, we can see that it's reading its config file from /etc ansible.cfg, right? But this is the general configuration file of Ansible. We don't even need this, right? We might have to build our own configuration file before we come back to do inventory. Might have to, so that you guys can actually use your Ansible configuration. So this is the general configuration file of Ansible. Normally, you don't touch this so much. The beautiful thing, or what makes Ansible beautiful, is that there is something called, I want you guys to look at this very, be attentive with this, because it's the core of Ansible configuration and understanding Ansible. If you can understand it, then you understand Ansible. So the Ansible configuration file is it's good, but at the same time, you have to know what you're doing with the Ansible configuration file. You have to know which one, the priorities of the Ansible configuration file, right? You need to know what priorities the files have, okay? You need to know the priorities. What is the Ansible configuration file? So Ansible.cfg, as you all see here, okay, Ansible.cfg, as you all see here, is the main config file for Ansible. Okay, it's the main configuration file for Ansible. So you can create and edit files in your own Ansible project. You can create your own Ansible project, then you create and edit file. Now, if you cut this file, as we normally said, cut this, you will see that there's nothing much inside, right? But you can configure your own Ansible configuration file without using the root privileges. You do not you do not need root privileges to configure your own Ansible configuration file, okay? So mainly, the Ansible config file has two main portions. For general usage, it has two main portions for general usage. One is default. The first part of the configuration file is default. Default. And the second part is what? Privilege. Privilege underscore what? Escalation. Privilege escalation. Those are the two main portions that if you configure them, you'll be able to run Ansible freely, right? You'll be able to run Ansible freely. You guys remember our diagram with nodes, Ansible nodes, right? You remember this diagram with Ansible nodes, right? Now, for you to SSH to a server, you need to know a username that exists in that server. Is that true? Like right now, you guys just knew the username Rob that was on a server and used that username to SSH. Is that true? So if I want to SSH to this server, I must know a user that is inside this server. Is that true?
Yes.
Right. And if I want to SSH to this one, I must know a username that exists in this server, right? I must know it. It's like I'm going to a parking lot. If I'm going to a parking lot to go get into a car, I must know the car I am going to get into. Is that true? I cannot just go into a parking lot and I want to log in. I want to go to any car. If you're sitting on a computer and you want to log into that computer, you must know a username that can access that computer or that can access the resources on that computer. Is that true? Great. So with Ansible, if I SU to my user, great. With Ansible, you do not need any privilege. You don't need any privileged user to configure your own Ansible configuration within your environment. Okay. Now, what are the portions that we were talking about with our Ansible configuration file? We said the first one is default. We have what? We have default. We have a section called default, and we have another section called what? Privilege escalation. Now, let's see that in action. If I VI to ansible.cfg, wherever in the system, the first rule of Ansible is that wherever you find yourself in the system, whatever directory you find yourself, if you create an ansible.cfg file, in that configuration file, or sorry, in that directory, then that becomes your configuration file. It takes priority over the default configuration file. What am I saying? I'm saying if I just touch ansible.cfg, if I touch ansible.cfg, let's first of all do ansible-version. We can see right here that the configuration file is pointing at /etc ansible.cfg. If you're not root, you cannot modify this file. Now we are saying that whenever you create a configuration file anywhere in the system, in any directory in the system, if I do present working directory, in other words, I'm right now here in my home directory. And if I create an ansible.cfg in this directory, then it becomes what? My Ansible config file. So if I touch, as you guys are also in your own home directories, if I touch ansible.cfg right here, without even putting in anything inside, and I do ansible-version right here, sorry, ansible-version, you realize that the home directory has changed to what? /home jiftech ansible.cfg. In other words, it's telling me, hey, jiftech, this is your Ansible configuration file. I will read the Ansible configuration files from this file, right? The parameters of the config file, I am reading it from this file. Now, if I remove that file, then I do Ansible-version, you say, hey, I do not see anything again in this directory. So in other words, I fall back to what?
The default.
The default, which is etc ansible.cfg. Is that understood? I can see you guys typing. I can see you guys typing. I can see you guys typing. Is that understood? Great, great, great. Okay, so we've at least trashed that. Now, let's see how we can manage the settings. Since we said creating an empty file becomes your ansible.cfg file. Now, let's see how we can manage the settings, right? Let's see how we can manage the settings of that Ansible configuration file. So if I touch ansible.cfg, there's nothing inside. Great. Right here, and if I do ansible dash space dash version, I have it here. I have my config / home gftech ansible.cfg. Great. So if I vi now to my configuration file, which is under Ansible is telling me that it's under / home gftech ansible.cfg, which I am already inside. So, well, let me just use the absolute path. Great. In here, I told you guys that there are two main, in other words, there are two main topics. Let's call it topics. There are two main topics, or there are two main configuration, what? Sections. Section 1 talks about the default of your own ansible.cfg, the default of things that you want to use to run your own Ansible. And Section 2 talks about how your default configurations are going to handle what? Privilege escalation whenever they reach the target host, which the target host is what? These nodes that you're controlling using Ansible. In other words, let's just take the first section, which is default. Great. Under default, let's see what we can put inside. The first thing, of course, is inventory. Can I work with Ansible without inventory? No, I can't. Where is my inventory? I'll tell you that my inventory is in maybe /home /gftech / I can call it servers. I can call it inventory. I can call it anything. It's my choice. It's my choice. I can call it inventory. I can call it production. It's my choice. Well, let me call it servers for now. Then the second, remote_user equals to, who is the remote_user? The user that SSH. So Ansible is just like you and I. For example, Alex wants to go to a server. Alex will SSH to that server if he knows his username is on that server. So Ansible is saying, hey, which user do you want to use to SSH? Who should I SSH as? I say, okay, SSH as Mimi. Great. Then next, ask_pass, right? Ask_pass. This specifies whether to prompt for an SSH password. So ask_pass, just saying that should Ansible ask for a password? Should Ansible ask for a password while SSHing? You can put it false, you can put it true. Just this right here is enough for Ansible to run. Just this two. It's enough. I'm saying go here, take the IP. Go right here, take the IP. Use this user. So you SSH as Mimi at IP of the server, and you go to that server. Is it clear? Okay, so let's do ask_pass equals to false. Ask_pass is just like Ansible might be prompted to say, have you ever configured a server and you want to log in? They say, do you want to log into this server? Yes or no? You've heard it, right? Or you've seen it. Where you want to SSH, they say yes. Do you accept yes or no? Now you're telling Ansible that, hey, whenever they just don't even give me that don't give me that option, because if it gives that option, you're failing, because it will fail most of the times. Why? Because the option, it's Ansible that is SSHing. It's not you that will interactively type yes or no. Okay? There's that too. Then, remember we said there's a second section, which is privilege_escalation. How should I handle privileges when I reach that server? If I am going to the server as Mimi, when I reach that server, how should I handle privileges? Well, I'll say become equals to true. Yes, you can change your privileges, but it will ask me again the question, which method can I use to elevate my privileges? You just told me you can elevate your privileges. What method can I use? Become_method. What's the method that's used to elevate privileges? What's the method that is used to elevate privileges?
True.
Who's saying true? Thank you. Thank you. Sudo. If I want to become root, I become sudo. Become_user. Become_user. Who, if we are doing sudo, which sudo user are we becoming? Root. Great. Should I ask for password? Become_ask_pass. Should I ask for password? When I'm becoming the root user, I can say false or I can say true. If you say true, you must give the password to Ansible. It's your choice. Are we good to continue? Great. So this is the file right here. It's in my home directory, right? Okay. So this is the hierarchy, the hierarchical structure or the precedence of the Ansible configuration file. Very important. Very, very important. One of the most important things in Ansible, this. So the config precedence, in other words, which one comes first? Which one is considered first? Because if you don't know, then watch, I am in my home directory, right? PWD. My home directory is considered as a folder. Is that true? It is considered as a folder. This is a folder called GIFTech. Before being my home directory, it is a folder called GIFTech. Is that true? Great. Now, let's deal with precedence. Which one comes first? And we analyze it and see. Now, if I make directory, what? If I make a directory called man, LL, and I cd it to man, and I do Ansible dash 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 version. Can you see what happened? Now it's taking it's the ansible.cfg. But I created an Ansible configuration. Now, if I go behind and I do Ansible dash dash version, because I am inside a file that has an ansible.cfg, it now start reading it, which tells me, which brings us to this. The most important or the most important file with the ansible.cfg that is considered first is project directory. The first file that is considered is the file in your project directory. What do I mean by that? I have a file here, right? This directory here is considered as my project directory. That's why it's seeing it. If I cd it to man and I vi and I touch ansible.cfg, then I do ansible dash version. You can see that my Ansible config file is pointing at what? Slash home GIFTech man Ansible, which is my project directory where I am working. That is it. It overwrites everything. It is the most powerful. So the most powerful Ansible file, well, there is environmental variables too, but that's a lesson for another day. So the most powerful Ansible file is the Ansible file that is within your project directory. That is the first and most powerful file in what? The Ansible directory tree. That is the first and most powerful file. Now we go up to the second level. The second level, which is sorry, which is inside your home directory, your home slash dot, which is a hidden file, dot ansible.cfg. Now, let me explain this. If this .ansible.cfg is second strongest, what are we saying? We're saying that if you don't have an Ansible.cfg in your project directory, Ansible will check your home directory in .ansible or check a hidden file in your home directory called .ansible.cfg. If it does not see it, then it will fall back to the weakest of all the 3 files, which is the default configuration file, which is the weakest one, the weakest file, which is /etc/Ansible, Ansible.cfg, I think so. Ansible, it's not even used. So Ansible.cfg, you might always forget it because nobody even uses it that much. This is the weakest. This is the strongest. So this one is 1 bar. This is like 3 bars. This is 2. This is 1. This is the strongest file. Now, let's see it in action by seeding to my home directory. Great. Let me make 5 directories.
Just to summarize all of this, so you're saying that our servers can have more than one Ansible configuration file, but depending on where it's located depending on where it's located at, depends on what the server will recognize.
Yes, it is very important to understand this. This will cause you to fail your Red Hat certified engineer.
Okay. So is it common for us to put Ansible files in different directories, or should we always put it in the project directory?
The project directory, I would say, is the best thing that you can do for yourself.
Okay.
When you put it in the project directory, you work within that project. When you're done with that project, you delete everything. You've deleted that configuration file, everything. The server is clean, right? Now, I've created a few directories here. Let's cd to my home directory. Okay. Now, let me say, if I do ansible.cfg, is this a hidden file? No, right? If I do ansible-version, of course, it's considering this as my project directory. That is why it's picking this, right? It checked, say project directory, the directory that you're present in. Is there an ansible.cfg? The server said yes. It says, oh, then I will ignore going to these two. So I'll just use this. Now, if it said no, it will come here and say, is there an Ansible.cfg, which is a hidden file? If it says yes, it will end here. Else it will go right there and finish there. You see, because I'm in my home directory and the file that the configuration file in my home directory is not Ansible.cfg, it will not consider it, right? Once it comes to check in my home directory, because it's checking for a hidden file. Now, if I cd to maybe 1 and do Ansible-version, great, it falls back to etc. Why? It started by checking the directory saying, do you have an Ansible.cfg to give me to consume? It said no. It went up and said, hey, home directory, is there a .ansible.cfg? It said no. It said, then I am falling back to Ansible.cfg. Now, what if there was a .ansible.cfg? I cd to the home directory, clear my screen, and LL. I move my file, move ansible.cfg to .ansible.cfg. CFG. Great. You don't see any file again because it's a hidden file now. If I do ls-la, you can see that I have a hidden file called .ansible.cfg in my home directory. Now, if I clear my screen and cd to 1 again, there's no ansible.cfg. Then if I do ansible -version right here, it says, hey, I am using what? It doesn't matter the directory. It does not matter the directory that you find yourself in your home directory. It will always fall back to .ansible.cfg, which is present in your home directory. Okay? Watch this really well, because when we introduce the Ansible-Navigator, which uses the same concept, I don't want you guys to be confused, please. Because if you're confused, it will harm your exam. You can drop everything and understand this concept first. Because you might go in the exam, they ask you to configure your Ansible.cfg, and you configure it, but something else is overriding your own Ansible.cfg, which if you don't know or if you don't understand the structure, which one is more powerful, you will not be able to detect what's happening to your system, or you will run commands with a different Ansible user. Understood? Salva, can we bring our neck up? Thank you.
So I have a question.
Question.
Why do you keep the Ansible into the hiding file .ansible.cfg? Why we use dot? Why we keep the file hiding?
Good, because it's first of all more secure. If someone just comes in here and do this, if I cd to my home directory and say, let me see the files that are there. Well, first, there's no file, right? There's nothing. If I do ls-la, I have a lot of files in here that are hidden. Is that true?
Yeah, okay. It's for security, right?
Yes, mainly for
Okay.
security.
Okay.
Any important file is at least hidden. Some of us, while growing up, you have your computer and you create like 10 different folders to keep different things. You create books, and inside books, you create another book for your father to see that you're very serious. Criminals. So that's security, right? You even know security at your young age. You're 12, 13, 14, you know security already. You keep your games where nobody will know it. Great. So now, if I create, you understand now that if I create an Ansible, if I copy the Ansible.cfg, copy .ansible.cfg to one Ansible.cfg. Now, if I cd to one Ansible.cfg, which cd to one, which was reading what? /home.ansible.cfg. Because there is an Ansible configuration file here, if I do Ansible -version, it will override .ansible.cfg. And actually, because this one is more powerful, it will take this one. Can we proceed? You feel it's okay to proceed, Damata? Okay.
Yes,
Damata,
Prof.
Damata said yes. Great. Now, we go to inventory. We go to inventory. You see, one thing with Ansible is that it's smart enough Let me vi to .ansible.cfg. Great. We said our inventory location was /home jtech servers. This is our inventory location, but we've not yet created it. Now, if I quit and I touch this file, touch the file that I said it was going to be what? My inventory location, which is right here. If I vi to servers, great. Now with inventory, it's a little bit still the same like what? It's a little bit still the same like the Ansible configuration file. Now, there are groups. In this file, you group servers into groups. I can create a group in here called what? Production. Oh no, rel 9. Let me just say rel 8. Rel 8 here. And I say maybe it's 10 dot 10.12.20 dot, I don't even know. Who has servers on? Let me check for servers that we can use. Pascal has 2 servers on, and he's not even here. All right. Let me use 10.12.80.170. That's the first server. And the second server that I'm going to be using is what? You can use the same servers also. 10.12.80.78. That's the second one. Great. Now, another group can be database. Database servers. A rel 8 server can be a database server. Is that true? Hello?
Yes.
Now, maybe my web server is a different group. Web server, which is what? Maybe I have 10.12.80.130. Then again, I have, let's say, I have another one, right? Which is what? Rel 9. Rel 9. And on rel 9, I have 10.12.80.140. Ubuntu, I have an Ubuntu server, which my Ubuntu server is 10.12.20.9. I don't even know if it exists, but that's fine. Let me look for a server that exists. No, I should not joke with my mail server. Nope. There's some servers that I can't just play with. Okay. .10. Now, I create a different group called test. My test servers. My test group can be what? 10.12.22.80. Great. Watch now. I'll create a group called rel. There's a rel group. Now I put here children. This is what we call nested groups. You nest like a bird nest. They are nested together. Okay? This is what we call like nested groups. Now, rel children. I have a group, nested group nest 1 or 2 groups together, like rel 8 and rel 9. In short, they are all children of what? Rel. Is that understood? They're all children of rel. I can create production next. Production servers and children. I can have all the groups but test, right? I can have database. I can have web server. For web server, I can have group Ubuntu. These are various groups of production servers.
Typo in the brackets.
Typo. Oh, okay, thank you. Children. Great. Save. That is saved.
I think you have the typo on the database.
Thank you. BI to servers.
The one up, the one you, yeah.
Thank you. Great. Now I've created my inventory. How do I even see this inventory or make sure that this inventory is good? I can do Ansible dash inventory to see my inventory dash graph. Let me see. Great. It shows me the graph of all the hosts that I'll be running. It says, hey, you have ungrouped. What is ungroup? Any server that's not in a group. For example, if I VI in here, back into servers, and I input maybe I come down here. I just put an IP 10.12.20.120, 10.12.22.191. Great. They do not belong to any group. Now, if I do graph, oh, no, it added errors. Undefined group. Let me put it at the beginning. Let me see.
Why does this not belong to children or, rel of production?
Yes, that's true. Because of, it's considering it that it's inside those 2 groups. It's in here. So if I deposit it right here, right? And I graph again. Great. Clear. Let me graph again. You can see that ungrouped servers that do not belong to any group. I have 2 of them. Is that true? Servers that belong to the group test is 1. Rel servers, the rel group is a nested group, which has a rel 8 group inside with 2 servers and a rel 9 group with 2. Then production also is a nested group which has database, web servers, Ubuntu. We can see that, right? I can see it in YAML also. I can do Ansible dash inventory. Inventory, what? Dash dash list dash YAML. Oh, it's dash dash YAML, sorry. I'm doing dash. Great. This is the YAML representation of what? My Ansible.cfg, which you have all children, production, all. So you can see that it uses the same kind of logic that we use to create our files, to name everything. You can see that we have all the servers, all our inventory. The children of all our inventory are production, which production has its own children, which is database and Ubuntu and web server. Rel also, which is a child group of all, has its own children, which has Rel 8 and Rel 9. Am I making sense? Okay. All right. Now, clear my screen. We are good to go. We have our Ansible configuration file. There are other commands to see, but let's limit it to the one you can use, right? You can just do Ansible inventory dash dash list also. Ansible dash inventory dash dash list without graph, without bringing out a graph. We'll throw it out this way, right? In JSON format. Okay. Now we have our inventory. You have the yam, you have the knife. What are you waiting for?
The script.
Great. So all these servers, remember our first projection, which was this one. All these servers need to have what user? All these servers need to have what user inside?
Mimi.
Great. All these servers need to have Mimi, because if I am SSHing to this server, I should know that I'm SSHing as a user. Well, if I cut our .ansible.cfg, we'll see that we said Mimi should be able to log into all these servers. Is that true? Well,
Is that a method that you can choose which nodes get the update and which ones don't?
yes, at some point you will learn that.
Okay.
So now, if I want to ping, okay, well, we'll do something with that now. Give me a second. Let me double this and create a user and create user Mimi in here. All right, I've doubled this. Let me keep it right here so I can be explaining as I'm doing it. Now, my servers, I have this one. Some of them are not even working. Now, let me go into this one. SSH to this. Okay. This is where issues start. SSH to. Okay. You see the yes or no thing that I was talking about? All right. User add Mimi. Password Mimi. Oh. All right, let me add a user for you guys too. Okay. If you want to use your own user add, I'll give you guys user user red. No. User James. Okay. I'll give you guys user James. Password James is red hat. Great. All right. Now, time to go to the next server.
So we can change the remote user to James officially.
Okay. Next. Already did this server. Okay, maybe one more server. Um, Great, that's enough. That's enough. Okay, great. Now we've created a scenario where a few users have user James and Mimi that have identical password. They are all in this servers, right? Now we can run. If I do an Ansible, if I cat .ansible.ansible.cfg, I can see all my users. I can see all my users. My user that will run is user Mimi. That will go check all my servers. Now, if I clear and I run Ansible all ping. Now, Ansible all ping. All. Remember when we did what? We did Ansible inventory. You saw a group called all. Is that true? Is that true? Did we see that here? When we did Ansible dash graph, you saw a group called ping. There's something in Ansible called modules. Modules are actually what help you do the job. If I do Ansible dash doc ping. Great. This is the ping module. It will tell you it is used to ping. Then it will give you the attributes, right? Whatever thing is inside with examples. It gives you examples. If you want to ping, you do ansible.builtin.ping. I mean, this is with playbooks, but that's fine. Now I'm trying to run a command. So, okay, great. So we've set up our environment. Well, let me just say we've set up our environment. Our environment is set up now. Now we want to test connectivity. There are two ways of running Ansible. Either you run Ansible with playbooks or you run ad hoc commands. There's something called playbooks and there's another one called what? Ad hoc commands. That's your beginning of Ansible. There's something called playbooks and ad hoc commands. So if I do Ansible, what's happening? If I do Ansible, what? Where's my keyboard typing? Why don't I have my keyboard anymore? What happened to my server? There. Where should I shift it? Great. When I thought I'm done. What happened to this thing? I don't want to be looking at it now. Who modified the sudoers file of this? Who touched this server? Who touched this? I did not tell anyone to create anything in the sudoers file. Who created the user kite? Who did that? Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Who created the user called kite? You think you're slick? cd2/. Let's see sudoers. You guys, you don't have to create anything. You guys do not have to create anything. There's someone that made an error trying to create user kite. Now it's killing everyone. No. It's kite. Syntax, you know what? Jesus Christ. Why is this syntax problem right here? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I know there was an issue there. Serve. SRV. What's wrong with this variable? Oh. Oh boy.
The user was created just before Rob.
Yeah. I see. Wow. Let's see. Oh. Yeah. Oh boy. Okay, great. Okay, all we're gonna do today is ping. So we do Ansible, all the groups, dash M for module, ping, right? Dash M for my module. I want to use the ping module, dash M ping. You see? All right. You see, most of them. It's asking me all this question. Do you want to log in? Yes or no? If I run it again, it will still be asking me the same things. What do? There is a config call. There's a config call host key underscore ask. It's asking me to accept the host key. I can add a configuration file that does host underscore key underscore ask, right? You can do that underscore checking. So equals to false. You know, the first time that you log in, you always ask you that. Now, if I run my ansible.cfg again, oh, it's still asking me. Wow. Let me clear my screen and see host underscore key underscore checking. Cat.ansible. Did I write it well? Host underscore key underscore checking. I'm explaining and writing what I'm explaining inside the file. Sorry. Great. It's no more asking me for that key. Great, right? So now what happened? It tried to log into all these servers, right? And what happened? You got a permission denied. Of course, you can't log into the server if you don't know what? If you don't know the password. Well, it tried to SSH like you and I, but it was unable. What do? You use a -K option to give the password. Clear my screen and do Ansible all. Because if I do Ansible-inventory -list, okay, let me do a graph. You can see that there is a group called what? All. In other words, I can say Ansible, let me call it again. Okay, in other words, I can say Ansible what? Ubuntu, the group Ubuntu -m ping. So I cannot reach the group Ubuntu. You see, it's one server, permission denied. You say, hey, failed to connect to the host via SSH. I SSH as Mimi at this, permission denied. Public key this, unreachable. I tried to use a public key, which the key algorithm that I tried to use is GSS API key, GSS this, do this. Then I tried password, then everything failed and I came out. Landry, I'll join you on that TikTok. I'll join you on that TikTok. You're busily on TikTok. And right here, I'm seeing you on TikTok live. I'll join you on that TikTok. Okay. Great. So right now, Ansible-m ping, it doesn't work. The beginning might be a little bit slow, but it's good to take the beginning slow. Because once we enter into what? Using roles, using collections, nesting what? Rules that we create. importing roles into other roles, importing playbooks into roles and running them. You might go crazy if you did not do the beginning part. That's why I'm taking this part really slowly, explaining every command that you should know it. Okay, great. That's it. Now I can ping other groups, right? But I don't have a password. I do -K. Let me, I hope I did database. I did the database server. So Ansible database -M ping -K. I'm saying, ask me for the password. You say, okay, give me the password. I give the password. Take and go in. Now, it says missing sudo password. You know the reason? Because we said always go in with what? Sudo. Become the privilege escalation now. It's being applied. That's why. If I vi to .ansible.cfg, it's because we said become should be true. I can turn it to false. False. Do not become root. I give
Wait.
my password. Great, success. I was able to ping my server. Ping does not mean it's the ping that you know on what? On every server that you do ping the server to see if the IP is up. This ping is to see if the Ansible controller can talk to the host. Okay? To see if the controller can talk to the host. I gave you guys user James, so you can use user James and do the same thing with the password Red Hat. It will work for you, all of you, the same thing I'm doing. So there are a few things that we can do, right? Now you can see I can ping. Let's ping rel. Let me call this and change this to the rel. Now I'm changing this to the rel group. I give the password. Great. The rel group has like 3 servers. We can see that the server is this, this. Hey, the controller is saying I can reach this. The controller is saying right here that I can reach this. The controller is saying I can reach this. The default modules that come with Ansible, some of them are like ping. There's another module called command. There's another module called shell, right? I can run now a command. I can run a shell. So I can do, let me clear my screen. I can do Ansible rel, the group rel -M command. I want to run a command. -A for options. I think so. -A for options. And my options are cat /etc/password. Oh, password -K. You see, it's giving me the contents of all the /etc/password of all those files that I have sent in. Now watch. If I do, let me clear my screen and call my command again. And instead of putting cat, sending cat as a command, let me do a yum repo list -v. This is a command that only a privileged user can run. Is that true? But let's run it. Great. Oh, yum repo list -v, everyone can run it. That's fine. Everyone can run it. So yum repo list -v, I can see, yeah, everyone can run it. I can see my repository right here. I can see my repositories right here. So some servers do not have repositories, but there's one that has 6,000 packages right here. Now I can say Ansible, let me see which one. This one has it. Now I can say Ansible this server -m, it will know how to go get command -a yum install let's install Ansible -core, or let's just install any package like Nginx. -k. I give the password. What's the error? Let me clear my screen and run it again. Not root, subscription management repositories not updated, error. This command has to be run with the superuser privileges under the root user. Are you seeing it's forcing me to run it through the root user? So I do Ansible, I call the command again, and I give -K to give the root user's pass, the sudo become sudo, then sudo password. Remember that our become sudo is false, right? In the Ansible config file. Then I give the become password. You see, it will still fail. Why? Because our become is false in the configuration file. I cannot become, you've restricted it from becoming a privileged user. If I vi to .ansible.cfg, in here, I change this become to true. True. And I do Ansible -m command -a. In the beginning, do not copy commands, type everything. -a yum install Nginx. -m command -a Ansible rel. What pattern is this? What was the rel?
Typo, a typo.
RHEL. Let me just use the IP. I know it's wrong, but let me just, I want to limit it. I don't want it to run on so many servers. Taking its time. I'm sure you guys are running it like crazy. Running stuff. Right, because you guys are running also, mine is taking a little bit of time. But that's fine. So that's the beginning of Ansible. Now I can stop the video and we work on the Windows servers that we were supposed to. Oh, it's time. I think it's time. Oh, it's past time. Okay, we work on the Windows servers tomorrow. Okay.
You can continue, sir.
So I come and say, okay. No, let me go enjoy also. We work on the Windows servers tomorrow. Tomorrow, this is it. This is not for everyone. You know yourselves. Tomorrow, I'll pick from anyone. You will look at the camera and tell me about yourself. Any one of you. I'll pick on any one of you. 5 minutes without stopping. You tell me about yourself, what you can do with Linux. And I'm not joking about it. You guys know me. You don't do it, I'm kicking you out, and that's all. You're done. Tell me about yourself. If you've not written it, write at least 2 pages of tell me about yourself. 2 pages. If you've never crammed in your life, start cramming. You tell me about yourself and the things that you can do in Linux. Deal? Let me stop this live. Let me not be.
Yeah, so I changed my laptop. I will need a VPN file again, please.
You know the rules. You lost your things, you're in trouble.
Yeah, the other laptop was kind of giving me trouble, so I sent it to Cameroon. I bought a new one.
So, all right, you tell me about yourself. At least I'm not saying you should give me all the 2 pages tomorrow. At least tomorrow, you should give me, you should be able to say, I'm not interested in you emailing it to me. When I just say, Salva, tell me about yourself. Start pouring Linux as if it's coming out. You were born with it. The things that you know how to do, you better write down all the things you know how to do. ChatGPT is not going to help you on this one because ChatGPT is deaf and dumb. Okay. All right, guys. What do we say tomorrow?
Thank you, sir.
And tomorrow, all of you guys, I can see very tired faces tomorrow. And tomorrow, I want to see those faces very, very happy. Like Salva, like Mimi, which I did not feel her presence today. Alex was a little bit tired. Rodrigue locked out like 5 times. So
And then you
tomorrow we are building an Active Directory cluster because now you see that with Ansible, you have to build servers for you first, and you have to do DNS, you have to do Active Directory. DNS meaning that all your servers will need to have a DNS server, which your Ansible server and every server you build will be talking to your DNS server, which might be hosted by your Active Directory server in such a way that you can use host names, not IPs, to do your Ansible configuration files. Okay? We will build an Active Directory, a domain controller, and we'll build like 2 domain controllers. We'll deploy a cluster, but finally, you'll delete 2 of them. You understand how to deploy a cluster, but you delete some of the Windows servers and just maintain one, but you would have understood how to deploy a cluster and take servers out of a cluster, out of that Active Directory cluster. Okay?
Okay.
All right, guys.
And I got one thing. If anybody that can help me build my server on VMware, can we like keep this Zoom going?
The Zoom can't be going because I can't keep the Zoom open because I think I need to upgrade my Zoom. It has a bug. I tried
Okay.
ending the video. I tried ending the Zoom, and now I need to shut it down to be able to do anything.
Okay.
So
We can create a Zoom for us, Leo, so we can
yeah,
help.
you
Okay.
guys, yes, and guys, tighten your belt. It's gonna be really, really tough, and you guys need to. I promise you guys, it's gonna be really, really tough, and also everyone you have to participate. you will talk, you will work. If you want to be left behind, know that you're going to suffer, and I will not keep you here. I'm sending you away straight up. All right, guys, take care and work on your stuffs. Work on your tell me about yourself. Tomorrow, you're telling me about yourself, and we'll start correcting and doing all that and working and going. Tomorrow, we will, on Ansible, we'll touch other aspects of Ansible, but also we'll build the Windows servers where you have your domain controller already to start deploying stuff. At some point, we will have to add your Linux servers. You have to like add them onto Active Directory so that you can use the same credentials all around your own environment. Okay. All right, guys. Goodbye.
Bye, Jean.
Okay.
So, mm, yes.
Bon, Simon, c'est comment?
Yes, oh no. I didn't see my guy Alain Hori today.
C'est combien de
Les
temps à
gars,
dire?
d'ouvrir le Zoom ou pas?
Non, le prof, il a laissé ça, non. Il ne sait pas si. Attends, ça
Il a...
arrive.
Ah,
Mais je pense qu'on doit couper parce qu'on voit Prof Herman dans
Ouais, c'est
le...
bon. Oui, oui, Coach Eman, il est le co-host. C'est pour ça peut-être qu'il.
Non, dans le YouTube.
Bon, on va couper alors.
Yeah.
Mimi, tu nous fais un zoom alors, s'il te plaît.
Le YouTube n'est pas stoppé. Ah, yeah, it's still sure.